What's up, collectors? Welcome back to Films by Color and to the 70th episode of the Physical Media Rundown, our weekly live show on the channel where we talk about all things new in physical media. And we got a small week this week, not too many releases coming out. We're going to talk about all the Blu-ray and 4K releases that are coming out, but I don't think it's going to take too long, so I've got a discussion topic for us. I love doing these with you guys. Tomorrow actually, we have a big Disney release coming out. People are actually excited about a Disney release. That's been a while. They're getting a 4K, Lilo and Stitch. An older film getting a 4K release, which is very exciting. And I am immediately thinking, what should be next? I want to hear your thoughts. I've got a stack of 10, my top 10 that I think should be coming next. Love these movies, and I would love to see a 4K release of all of them. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. We'll talk about that in the live chat like we always do. Let's see who's here in the live chat. I'll give some shout outs right off the top. Then we'll jump right into the new releases. Good to see you guys. Feels like it's been forever. It's only been a week, but here we go. Jump right into it. Let me know how I sound. Let me know if everything's okay. Internet user is here. Dan's Den is here. Henry is here. Says good evening, DJ. And fellow colorists. Robert Rogers. Hello all. Doug is here. CG Anime Fan is here. Mr. Jones is here. Says on my break at work. How's everybody doing tonight? I have my wife. I think you meant I gave my wife an A24 Deluxe Edition Midsommar and the 4K of Heretic, which we watched last night for the first time and loved. I quite enjoyed Heretic. I think it's a lot of fun. I don't think it quite sticks the landing. But I had a lot of fun watching it. And who knows, maybe on a second viewing, I'll think it does. Mark is here. Another Monday night. Hi, everyone. Marty's here as well. Robert Rogers is here. Stream nights are also the nights of too many open tabs. Yeah, if you guys could see the rest of my monitors, it would be embarrassing. I always have way too many tabs open. Most of them shopping carts for physical media sites, which I just fill up and stare at for weeks, and then maybe eventually pull the trigger. I actually pulled the trigger recently on some big ones. I finally did my Flickr Alley order. I finally did a Classic Flicks order, my first ever Classic Flicks order, which is right there behind me. I just got it today. I'm excited to open that up. I also got this. Let's go ahead and do this right off the top. I got a package in the mail from my Amazon wishlist. So thank you so much, whoever sent this. I don't know who it is, though, because they did not leave a name in it. There's no note. There's just a little order thing, but there's no note inside. So let me know if this was you. Hopefully they're watching tonight. But they sent me a copy of Never Let Me Go, which is a movie I've never seen. But I love Andrew Garfield, one of my favorite working actors, and it also stars Keira Knightley, who's also always great. Never seen this film. It's got 4 stars on the back from Roger Ebert. I'm looking forward to it. It's been on my wish list forever. Never got around to it, but thank you so much for sending that my way. I'm going to have to replace the Blu-ray case because it looks like the bottom of it was either like mauled by a dog or dragged across asphalt. I don't know what happened, but like you can't really see it, but the bottom of it is like scratched up and the plastic is coming off. Not the shrink wrap plastic, but the plastic underneath as part of the case. But I've got tons of Blu-ray cases back there. I'll just swap it out. But yeah, let me know if you've seen this movie. And let me know if you sent me this movie because I want to give you credit, but I don't know who sent it. So hopefully they're watching this evening. Thanks so much for that. And the wish list is in the description. I always forget to mention that, but I get comments that people don't know where it is. It's always in the description. Don't worry about it. Kevin House is here. Let's see what goodies await us this week. Yeah, there's some fun stuff. Some big things, but like I said, not too many things. We've also got Collector Movie Man is here. Already has their Lilo and Stitch 4K coming tomorrow. It's going to be a first-time watch. Wow. I like Lilo and Stitch. I think it's a pretty good one. It's a good one to go back to, especially in that experimental era after what is it, from 2000 to right before Tangled? I think that's considered the experimental era. I like the experimental era. I'm one of the few. Let me see. Mr. Jones, Disney 4K, Dick Tracy and the Rocketeer, maybe. Oh, that's true. I guess I should clarify. I'm just talking about Walt Disney Animation Studios films specifically, but we can talk about that too. I would be down for the Rocketeer getting a 4K. That would be amazing. Jeffrey Patron is here. I pre-ordered the Mubi 4K and Blu-ray combo of Queer and the imprint Blu-ray of Leadbelly from Orbit recently. Excited for those too. Wow, awesome. Jeffrey also says, oddly enough, Never Let Me Go is the name of the song in Michael Curtiz's The Scarlet Hour, performed by Nat King Cole. I've mentioned to you before, didn't send that movie though. Wow. Well, we'll figure out who sent it, but that's a really weird coincidence. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the new releases, and we'll see right off the bat, we've got Lilo and Stitch getting a 4K release. Nice cover art on this. Now, I consider this like the third one, but of course there's many other Disney animated movies that have gotten 4Ks in the past, mostly like Renaissance era stuff, and then second Renaissance or whatever they call that, like the new Renaissance with like Frozen and Wreck-It Ralph and Tangled. Most of those have 4Ks, and a lot of the Renaissance has 4Ks, but I'm talking about like of the classics that they've been going back and doing, like they did Cinderella. We got a 4K of that, which with a nice slipcover as well. And then we also got a 4K of Snow White, which is one of my all-time favorites. So those two, now we're jumping way ahead. Obviously, we know why this came out. And we know why Snow White came out, because they were doing live action remakes. So they're doing Lilo and Stitch. I don't really have any interest in the new one, but I love the original. And you can see right here, we've got a slipcover as well. I don't know if it's going to match. Like, it looks just like a standard slipcover from the artwork, but we'll see. The other two had like the rounded corners slipcovers that I'm not a huge fan of. So I'd be fine if they switched over to these, but it's a 4K. It's going to include the Blu-ray. It's going to include a digital code as well. I like the artwork. They haven't been doing original posters on these. They've been doing custom artwork, but all the artwork's been pretty good. And I like this one a lot. I love the painted texture on there. It's called the Ultimate Collector's Edition. Seems a little much for just a standard like slipcover, but whatever. They can call it whatever they want. I'm excited about this. This is one of my kids' favorites. They like to watch this one, especially in the summertime. So I'm going to have to grab this. It's pretty pricey. It is Disney, so what are you going to do? $40.99 is list price, but available on Amazon right now for $31.99. So not too bad for a brand new 4K. Lilo and Stitch wouldn't have been like my top. It wouldn't have been in my top 10 of ones that I want, but I will pick it up. I think that's a good choice. And I can't wait to hear what you guys think should be next. Let's go ahead and talk about that for a little bit at the beginning, and then we'll jump into the rest of the releases. Just for anyone who clicked on the video for this conversation, I'll go through mine very quickly, and then I want to hear what you guys think. First of all, some of you will know some of these if you listen to me for any amount of time. But the first one, I gotta get it. I gotta get a 4K copy of this. Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, my all-time #1 favorite Walt Disney Animation Studios film. And I don't just want the 4K, I want the original shorts. If you don't know, this was not conceived as a film. This was 3 different short films that were released in theaters accompanying other films, and then they packaged all 3 of them together and animated some new bits at the beginning and in between the shorts and at the end to kind of tie them all together. And then they made a film out of it in 1977, but they came out before in the 60s. Maybe one of them was in the 70s, but the first 2 at least were in the 60s as separate individual shorts. Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree, and then the second one, which I think is Tigger, and then the third one, which also has Tigger in it, but he's first introduced in that second short, which is the big famous one with the Heffalumps and Woozle song. These are amazing, and I think probably the best adaptations that Disney ever did. I think he nails A.A. Milne's. They're not exactly what A.A. Milne was doing, but it's so good, and it's timeless, and I watch it with the kids all the time. Grew up watching with my brothers all the time. It's good for kids and adults. There's very dry British humor in there. I love it. It's amazing, and I need a 4K, and I need them to go back. You can't watch the short versions anywhere. Like, they don't exist on the internet. I've tried to find them forever. You can't watch. The only way to watch it is in this full film, but I would love to watch the individual short versions. I think that would be amazing. I doubt they would ever. This is ideal, obviously. This is like pie in the sky, what I wish could happen. I don't think it's ever going to happen. I don't think they're going to release those individually, but it would be really cool to see this kind of animation in 4K because it looks great. It's all like sketchy. It's one of those ones where you can see the animation lines intentionally, and there's a lot of cool stuff with like inside the book, and there's like the text from the book and the pages all tumbling down and stuff. It's just such a great movie, or such a great collection of shorts that they made into a movie, and that would be my #1 pick. I love it. I need it. I need that to be on the list. I doubt it ever will be because it's not as popular as some of the other ones. Again, not a popular one, but one of my all-time favorites. This is right up there with Winnie the Pooh and Snow White for me. Three Caballeros. Three Caballeros is one of the most artistically surreal and brilliant things that Disney has ever done. If you haven't seen this movie, go back and watch it. Ignore the haters who say that it's boring, because it is absolutely amazing. The animation is incredible. It's got live action animation mixed. It's got some absolutely bananas, over the top, surreal like animation that you've never seen before. It's got such good music, such good music. They actually went to Mexico, shot all this in Mexico, and the music is top 10. It's one of my favorite soundtracks from any Disney movie. It's amazing. Just got a Blu-ray. So again, this is ideal. This is never going to happen. The only way this got a Blu-ray was because of the Disney Movie Club, which is now closed. They're never going to release a 4K of this. But I gotta be true to me, gotta be honest, and that will be my number 2. My number 3, another classic, another one from the package era, another package film from the wartime era of Disney, Ichabod and Mr. Toad. I mean, Fun and Fancy Free is great too, but Ichabod and Mr. Toad specifically in this collection, some of the best animation, some of the best stories. I love, when I was a kid, I really, really liked the Ichabod story, but as I get older, I really, really love Mr. Toad. It's based on Wind in the Willows. We got a British story in here and an American story, both like American and British folklore stories. Wind in the Willows is very similar to Winnie the Pooh, so you can understand why I like it, but classic. We watch it every Halloween and every Christmas, because the Mr. Toad portion takes place at Christmas and the Adventures of Ichabod takes place during Halloween. So you gotta watch it. One of the best all time. And that's 3. I'm gonna rattle off 2 more, and then I'm gonna go to new releases, because this is taking longer than I thought, and we'll finish up later. But I just want to do these 2 more here. Another one of my all-time favorites, 101 Dalmatians. I wore the VHS out as a kid. This is one of the best, again, one of the most unique things that Disney ever did. It's very 60s. It's got this entirely different style with the animation. The opening credits are so unique. The soundtrack is so unique. This is my cup of tea. When you got something that's like nothing else, I get tired of the same thing over and over when Disney just gets stuck in a rut. This is wholly unique. It's like a little noir crime caper for kids about 101 Dalmatians. So good, one of the best Disney villains of all time. And then we've got another all-time classic. Animation specifically on this one needs to be in 4K. This is Bambi. This is one I never watched as a kid. I never grew up with this one. I didn't know what the hubbub was about. As an adult, I fell in love with this one. It was my son's favorite movie when he was like 2. He loved this one. And then I dug into the special features on this Blu-ray release and learned so much about this story. This is like a timeless survival of the fittest story. It's very just almost documentary style. The animators studied animals for like years. Disney made them study animals for like years, because this was a very different, they went in a very different direction with this. Unlike the animals in shorts before, like Snow White, where they're kind of cartoony, they're kind of continuing the path of the early like Silly Symphony shorts and Mickey Mouse shorts and all of the classic shorts. For the first feature, they kind of kept that style, and they're very animated, they're very cartoony looking. This, they studied animals in the forest. First Solo, they would bring animals into the studio and like study them, and they did all these character studies and animal studies, and they move so realistically. And the fire scenes in this, and the nature scenes, like if you watch, there's the big forest fire at the end, and it's so like artistic and creative, and it doesn't look just, I don't know, it looks like nothing else. This is another this is my top 5. These are great. This is what I would want. Those would look so good on 4K. 2D animation looks so good on 4K, and I would love to watch all of those. And I'll get to my second, or my 6 through 10 later, because that is going on a little long. So let me hear what you guys have to say, and then we'll jump into the new releases. Let's see what your picks are. Scroll back up. Mr. Jones says, Great Mouse Detective. That's a good one. I didn't grow up with that one. I have since seen it, but I know that has a strong following, especially of kids like 80s and 90s kids. Interesting. Marty says, don't a lot of the 90s Disney animated features on 4K have poor transfers, like Aladdin, Lion King, Beauty and the Beast? I don't know. I don't own any of those. I'm not a big Renaissance fan. I don't go back to those ones a lot. I like Lion King, but that's pretty much the only one that I go back to. So I don't know. I don't own those 4Ks. That's a bummer if they do have bad transfers. I'd like to see those done better if we could, but I much prefer the golden age if we are going to get some of these. Kevin House says Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day was the second Pooh featurette and won the Oscar for Best Animated Short. See? These are classics. We need to get them released in their original form. Henry says Disney altered or censored a scene in Lilo and Stitch. Disney in the future. Yes, I know about that scene, and I'm not too upset about it. I mean, if they're worried that kids are going to climb into washing machines, like, it doesn't change that scene at all for me. I know some people are purists and they don't want them to touch it at all, but all they did was change it from like a washing machine to like a little table. So it doesn't bother me too much, but I know some people really don't like that. Dance Den says, I remember having the short versions of the Winnie the Pooh cartoons on VHS back in the day. I think so. Yeah, I remember that. I never had them, so I'd love to see them. Maybe I could just hunt those down, but they'd be terrible quality. I'd love to see them cleaned up. What else do we got here in the comments? I'd like to see some more picks. Like, what do you guys want to see? Maybe I don't have the right audience for this. I got kids and I show them animation all the time, so this is fresh in my mind. Kevin House, The Three Caballeros is such a time capsule from that time of the good neighbor policy. Love the scenes with Donald on the beach with the bathing beauties. Yes, that's an amazing scene. It's great. All of it, all the way through. I love the shorts at the beginning. Dan Stent says, Mickey and the Beanstalk has one of the scariest Disney scenes ever. Donald Duck going axe crazy. Yeah, that's also on this double feature here. That's from Fun and Fancy Free, which is great. And the other short in there is Bongo, which I also like a lot. But yeah, that's a great scene. 101 Dalmatians is my favorite Disney animated feature. So stylish. It is. It's great. It holds up beautifully, and the humor is great. That's from Kevin House. That's his favorite. Friend Mr. Jones loves Three Caballeros and Saludos Amigos. Yeah, Saludos Amigos is great too. I've only seen it once. I need to go back and rewatch that one. Shadow Raptor PETA Lion says, my Disney 4K wishes are Sleeping Beauty and Black Cauldron. I'm one of 6 people who like the latter. I'm also in that 6. That's one that I didn't grow up with, but I saw it as a kid or older as an adult, and I really like it too. That's a great pick. That's actually solid. I should have put, I definitely should have put Black Cauldron. Well, I don't know if it would have made my top 10, but it's close up there. Sleeping Beauty, another great pick. Obviously that should get a release. I mean, they've already done the kind of half remake of that, so who knows if that'll happen. Mark says Lady and the Tramp, that's another great one. That's my wife's favorite, so she would love to see that. And it would look great. And they already did a live action remake of that, so that would have been perfect. Collector Movie Man says they are working on Sleeping Beauty 4K. They've already announced that, so that's exciting. That's cool. Let's see. Let's go ahead and we're gonna keep moving. We're gonna talk about some new releases. Maybe we'll come back to this in a minute. Mark says count me in on the 6, so he also likes Black Cauldron. I'm gonna do this one comment from Why So Bluetooth here, and then we're gonna jump into some other new releases, and we can talk about this later on if you guys want to, but I'm not gonna derail the show if nobody else is interested in this but me. We've got Why So Bluetooth. DJ, Deaf Crocodile is one of my favorite labels now. Watched Tamala 2010, Trapped Ashes, and Mysterious Castle in the Carpathians. I have Zero Grad and The Outcasts on deck. The Outcasts is wonderful. It's one of my favorite Deaf Crocodile titles, so I hope you really enjoy that one. You've started with some tough ones. Like Tamala 2010 is a tough watch. So if you made it through that, you should be gold because the other ones are going to be easier to get through than that one. But I'm glad you're enjoying the label. I am also enjoying the label, and I'm excited about some of the stuff they have coming out this year. I have 2 releases back there that I haven't been able to watch yet, but those will be coming soon. Look out for a new release on those. Let's jump to the new releases. We already talked about Lilo and Stitch. We talked about the price, talked about what's included. Very small week. Look at this. Just 4 rows. Just 4 rows. Not a lot coming out this week, but we do have a 4K of What Lies Beneath from Shout Factory coming out. 4K and Blu-ray combo pack. 2000 supernatural psychological horror thriller film directed by Robert Zemeckis. Didn't expect to hear those 2 things in the same sentence, but here's the cover on that one. Just a very simple, oh, look at this. This is great. I'm going to scroll down. He was the perfect husband until his one mistake followed them home. Look at this. What is this about? I'm going to read the synopsis because I'm not familiar with this film, but it's a big one. 25th anniversary, Robert Zemeckis film. It had been a year since Dr. Norman Spencer betrayed his beautiful wife Claire, but with Claire oblivious to the truth and the affair over Norman's life and marriage seem perfect. So perfect that when Claire tells him of hearing mysterious voices and seeing a young woman's ghostly image in their home, he dismisses her mounting terror as delusion. I'm guessing there's more to the story. That's available right now for $32.99 on Amazon from the original list price of $40. Hopefully that stays down low and doesn't go back up to $40. If you're interested in What Lies Beneath and you want to get a 4K from Shout Factory, that's also coming out this week. So 2 for 2 on 4Ks, and then we've got 2 more here. Big ones. This is another big week for Criterion. I could have easily made this the topic because this is amazing. Umbrellas of Cherbourg is getting a 4K restoration. It already got the restoration. It's getting a release. It's showing in theaters, and I hope I didn't miss my chance to see it because I would love to see this in the theater. Big Jacques Demy fan, and big fan of his musicals. Most of his stuff was musicals, but this one is great. Look at that. I know some people not crazy about the cover arts. I think the artist did a good job. Some people don't think it looks like Catherine Deneuve, but it is undeniably beautiful artwork and so colorful and very indicative of Jacques Demy's style. And I can't wait to get it. And I love that they did different artwork because this already has a Blu-ray from the Criterion Collection. It's in the big box set. I should have pulled that down. I didn't. But it's also, what is beeping at me? My phone is apparently dying. That's not important. I don't need notifications about my phone dying. Sorry about that. But Umbrellas of Cherbourg, it's in the big box set, but it's also one of the ones that has a single release, individual by itself. I don't have that individual release, but I'm glad they're releasing a 4K with new artwork. We talked about this when they announced it a couple weeks ago. There's the artwork from the box. That's what it looks like. If you haven't seen this film, I would strongly recommend it to you if you can deal with a sung film. It's not just a musical. It's a sung film, so every line of dialogue is sung. If that's going to get old for you, maybe it's not for you. I think it works. I think Jacques Demy is great, and I think he does a good job with it. It's 1964. It is a beautiful, colorful romance with a lot going on. I don't want to say too much, but if you like musicals, if you like La La Land, definitely pick it up because he is pulling so much from Jacques Demy in that film. But that's coming out this week. Brand new 4K. Another 4K. Not a brand new one because Kino Lorber already has a 4K of this, but if you missed that one, or if you just prefer Criterion, we've got In the Heat of the Night getting a 4K release. Another 60s film. 2 for 2 with 60s films. We got it's listed as a film noir. I don't know if it's technically a film noir or not, but it is about an African-American police detective who is asked to investigate a murder in a racially hostile southern town. Pretty intense, but I've heard nothing but great things about this one. This one's been on my list for a while. I didn't pick up the Kino Lorber release, so I'm excited that it worked out perfectly. Now I can get the Criterion, and no harm, no foul. In the Heat of the Night, 4K Blu-ray combo pack. That's what they do. Criterion doing those. If you missed it last week, the Anora 4K Digipack is out, and I saw it this weekend in a Barnes & Noble, and it is way bigger than I thought based on the images they showed us. It is a thick one. It's huge. It looks great. I can't wait to finally get that one. I'll probably wait till July. Same with these two for the 50% off sale, but exciting stuff coming out of Criterion. It's going to be a good couple of months before the sale. Let's see what people are saying. I'm going to jump back to my main screen over here and talk to you guys in the chat. Marty DMC, DJ, did you ever see those fan-made Criterion covers for the classic Disney animated features using the original poster art? They look incredible and make me want Disney to license those to Criterion. I did not see those. I've seen fan-made Criterion covers a lot. I don't know if I've seen the ones you're talking about. I have mixed feelings. I would love, personally, I would like Criterion releases of the Disney films, but also I don't want that to take over what Criterion's doing. I much prefer Criterion for putting out like unknown films that I haven't heard of and learning about new films. But Disney should make their own 4K releases, or Sony, or whoever's doing it now. I'd love it, but no, I haven't seen those. That sounds really cool though. Collector Movie Man says Dumbo would be one I would like on 4K. We might see that one in just a second here. That might be one of my favorites as well. Marty says, love me some Zemeckis. What Lies Beneath is a great film as long as you avoid the trailer that spoils the ending of the film. Well, I hope I didn't give anything away in the synopsis that Blu-ray.com has. I want to give some information so people know what they're buying, but I don't want to give away too much information. Hate it when trailers spoil films. I don't even watch trailers. I say that. If it's a movie I'm planning on watching anyway, I won't watch the trailer. But obviously, sometimes I have to watch the trailer if I have no idea what it's about. But if I get to the point in the trailer where I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch this, I'll just turn it off because I don't want to see. I want to go in as blind as possible. And these days, I don't really even pay attention to trailers, so I usually go in pretty blind, which sometimes doesn't work out. Dan's Den, What Lies Beneath, directed by Robert Zemeckis and written by Clark Gregg, aka Agent Coulson. Wow. The more you know. Collector Movie Man says, What Lies Beneath is a very good movie with Harrison Ford. Oh, I didn't even read the cast. There you go. Got Harrison Ford in it. Ethan Edwards, one of the ones that doesn't like her face on the artwork. Chapo Nano. I don't know how to say your name. This is the first time I'm reading it. Editing/altering movies and shows on physical formats goes against the entire premise of collecting physical media. I want to own what was originally put out, not what they think should be put out. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I agree. Yeah. It's just not one that I get like super up in arms about. But yeah, as a principle, of course. Yeah, I agree with you. Marty Zemeckis, last great film before he got stuck in the digital mocap style of filmmaking. Yeah, it's weird for me to even think of like a normal live action Zemeckis film because he's been the animation guy for so long. But there you go. You can go back to 2000, the year 2000, when he was doing that kind of stuff. Good point, Ethan Edwards says, the fact that it's all sung doesn't matter as much because you're reading subtitles, whether it's sung or spoken anyways. That's a good point. Are you guys familiar with Chantal Akerman's musical film? What's it called? Golden 80s, I think it's called. I'm thinking about working that in this month. Grace and I are doing Musical May again this month. We already have a list. I haven't made that public yet. Haven't really talked about it on the channel. I've been kind of behind. Trying to shoot a lot of video, or have a lot of video shot, but there's a backlog of editing because I have no time to edit these days. But we are going to be doing Musical May this month. I don't know if we'll do a video about it or not, but just personally, we're going to be watching a lot of musicals. Maybe we'll do a video at the end of the month talking about what we've watched. And I'm thinking about working in that film because I've been interested in that Chantal, is it Ackerman or Ackerman? I think it's Ackerman. Chantal Ackerman box set from BFI. They put out a beautiful box set. It's available on Orbit right now, and I'm thinking about picking that up. And it's not in there, but it is in the Volume 2 box set that's coming in a couple months. So I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about watching it. Robert says, In the Heat of the Night is a great mystery. I wouldn't say noir. Yeah. I was hesitant to read that because that's what it's listed as a noir on Blu-ray.com, but I think that's a little weird. Let's see. Mark says, do you think Criterion will do a new 4K box set of Jacques Demy? I don't know. Honestly, I would be surprised. It's weird. It's so up in the air what they're going to do with these, because they just announced a crazy 4K box set last month, which was from the DVD era. So that was super surprising. So I guess anything's on the table. They could do a 4K box set of Jacques Demy, and I would love it because I think his films, some of the best things about him is the visuals, so they would look great, and the colors and the vibrancy. But I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I love it. I don't know if I probably would. I don't know if I double dip or not because that's a big set. It's pretty expensive, even though it's only 6 films, but it isn't like a big bulky digipack one. So that'd be pretty cool. I'd highly recommend picking it up if you don't have the Blu-ray set, if they do eventually do that. Let's see. Mr. Jones says, DJ, the singing of it made me think of it as a jazz opera. I love it. I love it too. It's great. But I know I'm just trying to think of, other people who might not be down for it. But anyway, let's go ahead and see what else is coming out this week. 1984's Falling in Love. This is Fun City Editions, which I know as a partner label of Vinegar Syndrome, but maybe they're not anymore because this is coming out independent of Vinegar Syndrome's releases. I have, I think, one Fun City Edition release that was given to me as a gift, but it's not a label that I'm super familiar with. This is a 1984 romance film, Falling in Love. While Christmas shopping, Frank and Molly run into each other. This fleeting short moment will start to change their lives when they recognize each other months later in the train home and have a good time together. It's very Before Sunrise-esque. Although both are married and Frank has 2 little kids, they meet one more and more often, and their friendship becomes the most precious thing in their lives. Interesting. So kind of an affair, but maybe not really. Look at this cast, though. Robert De Niro and Meryl Streep. what a duo. That looks like fun. Wow. Look how young. Beautiful. There you go. Falling in Love. Maybe the most generic title I've ever heard, but maybe it works. Once you've seen the film, maybe it works. Let me know if you've seen that one or you're excited about that coming out. We've also got The Seed of the Sacred Fig from Decal Releasing. What in the world is this? A Persian language film investigating judge Iman grapples with paranoia amid political unrest in Tehran. When his gun vanishes, he suspects his wife and daughters, imposing draconian measures that strain family ties as social rules crumble. Oh, this sounds like a heavy one, but it did pretty good at Cannes. Got the special jury prize. The Seed of the Sacred Fig. I've heard of this. I heard of this last year. Wasn't this nominated for some things? 2024 film. I've definitely heard of the title. This was nominated for International Feature, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong, but I swear I've heard of this title. Supposed to be really good. It is getting a physical media release, which I love to see. Love to see small films, or not necessarily small films, but international films getting Blu-ray releases in Region A. Always great. We've also got Gladiator and Gladiator 2 in a 2-pack already. We're already at a 2-pack for these. These just came out. Literally just came out, and we've already got a 2-pack of Steelbooks. I guess they're just shoving the Steelbooks into one box. Reusing the Steelbooks, sticking them in one box. This is from Paramount. Paramount doing some cool stuff. Kind of reviving physical media a little bit with their Paramount Presents boutique line. And this looks pretty cool. They actually go together pretty well. The Steelbooks look good. They have 3 discs each. So you got your Blu-ray, you got your 4K, and it looks like you got a bonus feature Blu-ray maybe? And then there's a digital as well. So you get everything you could want. I can't tell how sturdy the box is. I don't have Feel-O-Vision. I don't know if that's a hard box or if it's just a flimsy like cardboard slipcover. I guess we'll have to wait and see. There's probably already review copies sent out to other bigger channels that have done reviews on this, so maybe check those channels out and see. I don't think I'm going to pick this up. I did not hear great things about Gladiator 2, but if you missed it, if you didn't pick up Gladiator 2 and you want to get a nice 4K box set for both, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. Good job, Paramount. And they got of course, they got the baboons as one of the screenshots. There you go. 2 movies for the price. I should say the price. Wow. I didn't even say the price. $68. Whee! That is pretty steep. $34 each. I would, if you're buying a 2-pack, I feel like you at least got to give it for like $30 each. Maybe make it 60 at the most, but 68. That's a little steep. I don't know if I'm with you there, Paramount, but I was with you until the end, until I saw the price. Dance or Die from TerraVision. Another beautiful hard box from TerraVision. They've been killing it. Unfortunately, I'm not super interested in the films they've been putting out, but look at this. Dance or Die, you got a hard box. You got a slipcover underneath with a clear boutique case. You've got a poster. You've got some art cards, and you've got 2 discs in there. I've never heard of Dance or Die. It's a 1987 horror thriller film. Maybe not horror, maybe just thriller. About a dancer, a ballet dancer. Directed and written by Richard W. Munchkin, which is a wonderful last name. Dance or Die. Let me know if you guys have seen Dance or Die. Let's do one more on this second row, and then we'll finish that up, and I'll talk to you guys in the chat for a little bit, and then we'll finish up. We've just got one more row, basically. There's some TV at the bottom. We'll skip over that. Girl Hell 1999. And that is in the title, I think. It says Girl Hell 1999 from 1999. I don't know if I've ever seen a movie with a year in the title that is the year that it came out. This is what in the world is this? A Japanese film? It looks like it. A film by Daisuke Yamanouchi? Wow. This is from Massacre Video, another very small label that I'm not familiar with, written and directed by the gentleman I just mentioned. Misaki is a girl trapped in a world violent beyond compare. Her home life is a wreck. 2 men are interested in her, and a homeless woman she regularly visits. But little does she know, life is only going to get more violent. So the synopsis is it's violent. That's all you need to know. That's all I know about it. And that's all the slipcover tells you too. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, it's not false advertising. It's telling you exactly what you're getting. Very violent horror film. Doesn't seem like it's for me, but if you're a big fan of Girl Hell 1999, who would have thought that was going to get a Blu-ray release? That's coming out this week too. All right, we got a little bit more to get to, including some Oscilloscope Lab releases and some releases from Undercrank Productions. These are very small releases this week, but I'm excited to talk about both of them because those are some really cool labels that I like to support. Let's jump back and see what people are saying in the chat. And excuse me if I'm losing my voice a little bit. I shot a video before I hopped on live tonight, so it's starting to go, but we're almost done. We'll wrap up around an hour, I think, today. I don't think we need to go too long, but I want to talk to you guys in the chat, as always. I'll be talking in no cats this evening. Let's see. Let's scroll back up, see where we left off. Ethan Edwards, the VHS of The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance literally told you who shot Liberty Valance in the synopsis, which you should not know going in. That's horrible. That's the worst thing I've ever heard. So glad I didn't see that. Shadow Raptor says they've seen Golden 80s many years ago. It's pretty good and definitely very different from her other films if you're familiar with them. Well, I'm not familiar with her. That's someone's work that I need to get into. And I think that might be a good bridge to get into it because it's, like you said, it's different and I like musicals and I've gotten into other directors like through their musicals. So that'd be fun. I'll go in knowing that it's not like her other stuff and I'll prepare myself accordingly. Mark says, would love a video of recap of musicals you've watched. Will do. I'll put that on the list. I'm sure Grace would love to hop on for that. So far, we've already watched Summer Stock with Gene Kelly and Judy Garland. I watched this one with the kids. Grace didn't watch this one with me, but it's Hans Christian Andersen, starring Danny Kaye, with basically the third act is just a really cool, really good ballet of Little Mermaid, which was really cool. And then after that, I watched Blue Hawaii with Grace, which is not a good movie, but it was a lot of fun. And we enjoyed it. It's got this beautiful Paramount Presents 4K release. It looks great. It looks beautiful. Basically, all this movie has is Hawaii and Elvis. And that's it. The songs are great. One of the songs, this is actually where Can't Help Falling in Love comes from, which was our wedding song that we danced to. Not his, I don't think it was his version, but wonderful. Amazing. We actually watched it on our anniversary. So it kind of worked out perfectly. I didn't know that song was from this. I didn't know it was in this. It just started playing halfway through, and it worked out perfectly that we watched it on our anniversary. So that was great. We're three musicals in so far, trying to keep up. I don't know how many we'll get through this month, but we'll do a recap at the end if we can find the time. Google said for outside the box musicals, don't sleep on Hedwig and the Angry Inch. The CC Criterion Collection also features a fantastic documentary on the history of the musical. I've heard nothing but great things about Hedwig. People mention it all the time in my Criterion videos. It's just, there's so many Criterion releases. It's impossible to get to everything, but it is on the list eventually. Internet user says the Seed of the Sacred Fig is great. Jeffrey says, yes, Fun City Editions is no longer releasing through Vinegar Syndrome, by the way. Okay. That's what I thought because they're not, it would have come out last week if they were. That's cool. Good for them. Branching off, doing their own thing. A lot of those sub-labels eventually do that. Deaf Crocodile used to be a Vincent partner label, and they are doing their own thing now, so good for them. Shadow Raptor, two other Disney animated films I want to see released on 4K are Fantasia and Alice in Wonderland. So many of mine have already been mentioned, so I can just agree with you at this point. I also had Dumbo in my top 10. I got to get that one. That's one of my favorites. Another one I didn't really grow up with, but it grew on me as I was an adult. Also mentioned by just now, Shadow Raptor, Fantasia, and Alice in Wonderland. Two of the most visually interesting, like besides, like right up there with Three Caballeros. Like the visuals in these are just stunning. So why would you not put these on 4K? Maybe because they won't be popular releases, but I would definitely pick that up. I feel like they're getting more niche. They're getting more collector-y with their releases now that Sony's in charge. So come on, put out Fantasia. And Alice in Wonderland's another great one. So I'm with you, 100%. And I'll just throw out my last two since we're already here. And I've only got two left in my top 10. Pinocchio and Peter Pan. Pinocchio, I mean, second film in their history, right after Snow White. You got to do it. It's also one of the best. Incredible. And then we could have got that, but we just got a Pinocchio remake. I mean, I guess they wouldn't want to well, we got a Disney remake too. I was talking about the Guillermo del Toro one, but we just got why didn't you do it when you did the crappy Disney Plus thing? And then we got Peter Pan. Another all-time classic. Do Alice in Wonderland and Peter Pan, 50s. British adaptations, it's the best. Peter Pan's one of the best. That's my top 10. That's what I would want. Those are the ones I would buy day one on 4K if they would release those. You guys got great taste. I totally agree with you. Let's see. Okay, Shadow Raptor. I apologize about my verbose username. If it helps, it's technically pronounced Pytalion. Okay, I could do that. Shadow Raptor Pytalion, or just Shadow Raptor for short, he says. No problem at all. I'll try to remember that. Internet user Ridley Scott is one of the most busiest guys in the industry. Seriously. And in between directing all the movies he's directing, he's also cutting a million different cuts of his films. Why So Bluetooth has Baby It's You from Fun City Editions. We need more John Sayles films on Blu-ray and 4K disc. And Google's also says Sayles is criminally underrepresented. Now's the time, man. We're getting so many releases. We're getting real obscure with the releases that these boutique labels are getting out. Let's see what else people are saying in the chat. I'm going to jump right here. Robert Rogers. Speaking of flimsy boxes, I'm sorry to say Criterion dropped the ball on Anora. My box was dented and puckered. Puckered. I don't know what I said. I've never heard puckered as a descriptor of a damaged box set, so it threw me off there. It's not a box set though, right? It's just a digipack. Their digipacks are always pretty flimsy. That's actually the main complaint I hear about their digipacks is that they're super cheap, and their box sets, they're very flimsy, and they don't seem to care. They don't seem to be listening to the feedback at all. If there is like an Indicator box set, a lot of times Indicator and Criterion will have crossover, and they'll release box sets that are very similar. I'll go with the Indicator box set because they're so much better. They're super sturdy. They're beautiful, colorful artwork on the Indicator, and Criterions are usually just kind of gray, and they're flimsy, and they're very damageable. And Indicator always comes with a nice thick box. In fact, I have something sitting in my PO box right now that I ordered from eBay that is and people are going to lose their mind on me for this. And I'm not going to say what it is. I'll see if you can guess it, but I know I'm going to get flack in the comments because Criterion has a 4K box set of this, and I actually went with the Indicator one instead because I love that box set so much, and I'll give my reasons for it later on when I open it up and show you guys. I will probably eventually get the 4K Criterion and maybe put those discs in it or something, but I will buy an Indicator box set all day over a Criterion box set because I love them. I actually got 2 Indicator box sets, and those will be coming soon whenever I can find the time to do a video about them. Let's see. Where are we? Where's my fish? Where's my fish? It's dead. I gotta get a new fish. Grant! Wait, huh? Lilo and Stitch is coming to 4K? How did I not hear of that? That's awesome, though. I don't know how you didn't hear about it, but it's coming out tomorrow, so order now. I guess you gotta go to Amazon. There's not really any other place, unless your Walmart is cool. My Walmart's not very cool, so I'll be going to Amazon, unfortunately. Grant, I hope every other Walt Disney Animation Studios film comes to 4K, but I doubt all of them will. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, I doubt it as well. I think only movies that get live-action remakes will have 4K re-releases of the animated films. Probably, I don't know if only, but that's probably going to be a big motivating factor. That's what they did with Snow White. That's what they did with Lilo and Stitch. I hate the live-action remakes. I'm not even watching them anymore. I would much rather see the originals in 4K, so hopefully we get more of that. Hopefully now that Sony's in charge, they'll do a little bit better job at releasing their catalog. I would definitely buy them, even though I do have them on Blu-ray, so maybe it's kind of dumb to rebuy them, but I want to support Disney actually doing stuff with their catalog. Ethan, Musical May, but it's also Asian American Heritage Month and Military Appreciation Month. There aren't enough days. Seriously, maybe we can do some crossovers. Maybe there's some Asian military musical films that we could find. Any recommendations, guys? Kevin House, Hans Christian Andersen has really catchy songs by Frank Loesser, who wrote the words and music for Guys and Dolls, of course. It's a fictional treatment of Andersen's life. Yeah, it's like a fairy tale version of Andersen's life, and it kind of uses The Little Mermaid as a template, which is kind of cool. It's like a fairy tale adaptation and a movie about fairy tales, much like The Red Shoes, which is a much better film, but it's also like a movie about the fairy tale The Red Shoes and also adapting The Red Shoes in a way. Brilliant, great movie. I want to try to squeeze that in this month if I can, because it's not really a musical, but it's a music film, dance film, so I think it counts. I'm gonna try to show that to Grace because she's never seen it, ever. So I gotta blow her mind with that one. Let's finish up this last row here and see if we can do this. Oscilloscope Labs. One of the coolest, like modern, not a modern boutique label, but a boutique label that puts out modern films. Like if you're looking for some really unknown stuff that nobody's talking about, stuff that doesn't get nominated for Oscars, but is international usually, go to Oscilloscope Labs. They're great. Technically, Oscilloscope Pictures is what it's called here, but their site is Oscilloscope Laboratories. It's very confusing. It doesn't roll right off the tongue, but they're releasing I Like Killing Flies, a film by Matt Mahurin, which came out in 2004. So they sometimes they release older stuff, but a lot of times it's in the 2000s, and a lot of new stuff like 2003. I mean, wow, like 2023, 24, like new stuff that had just come out and didn't get a Blu-ray release from anyone else. It's going to Oscilloscope Labs. So check them out. There's no synopsis for I Like Killing Flies, so I have no idea what this is. The artwork is very intriguing. They do limited edition like digipack releases for all of their films, Blu-ray and DVD. I love their stuff. Maybe we'll hop on Oscilloscope a little bit later if we have the time. I actually have a cart full of things from Oscilloscope right now. I'm just, again, waiting to pull the trigger. It's $100. It's gonna, I don't know. I might actually do it, but it's tough. There's so many labels pumping out so many things, but this is a good one. I recommend this one. They've put out some really unique films in the past, and they're very small. They don't have a ton of releases, so it's not too hard to keep up with. We've got from TerraVision again, another TerraVision release. This is not a big, bulky, limited edition, but it is... Oh, is that I can't tell what kind of case that is. It looks kind of like a Scanavo case. Are they transitioning over to Scanavo cases? Because that's pretty cool. I like when boutique labels use those. This is Gushing Prayer. Gushing Prayer from 1971. Another Japanese film, it looks like. Made the 2 for 2 for Japanese films this month. But it doesn't look like a horror film, is it? Again, I can never trust Blu-ray.com if whether or not their genres are right, but it's listed as just a drama. That's it. I don't know if it's a horror film or not. It would be weird if TerraVision was putting out a non-horror film, because they usually do. But if you've heard of Gushing Prayer, let me know. And if you haven't, that's coming out this week. Maybe look more into it. I'll be looking more into it after I hop off the stream, because I want more TerraVision releases. I only have one. They don't put out stuff that appeals to me too often, but I like staying in the know and seeing what's coming out. This here is really cool. This is from Undercrank Productions, which we've talked about on the show a few times before. Very, very small boutique label. This is from, and I love them because they're putting out silent films. I love collecting silent films. Nobody's paying attention to silent films. Criterion doesn't put out enough of them. Flickr Alley is another great resource if you want to get some silent films. I actually picked up 3 silent films from Flickr Alley recently. Haven't got the order yet. It's still coming in the mail, but I'll talk about those when they come. I want to do a series about like underappreciated boutique labels that should be on your radar, because I've got a couple of different orders coming, and I'm going to do one on each order. But I'd love to get some Undercrank pictures. We talked about them recently when they did The Bat. You remember this, guys? This is all they have. Like, they're a very small catalog. I'm sure there's a few more, but this is like the main stuff. And very little on Blu-ray. They just started doing Blu-rays. They had a lot of stuff on DVDs before. It's a very small... I was actually looking at them earlier today. It's a very tiny label. One guy does the scores for all of them. Like, if you look at the covers, they always say musical score by Ben Model. Or Ben Model. So they do these new scores for these old silent films. Ben Model does all of them, so he's a very busy guy and apparently very talented if you can do that many different kinds of scores. Roland West's The Bat came out. This is a 1926 silent film. We talked about this a few months back when this came out, but this week they're releasing another silent film called Tom Tyler, the silent film collection. So all of Tom Tyler, I don't know if it's all of them, but it's at least some of Tom Tyler's films, Western films. I love, for a small label, they actually do really, really great art. I don't know who does their designs, but this is kind of fun. You got the jean texture in the background. It's simple, but it works. I actually like it quite a bit. There's a cutout on the cowboy there, and it's got like a distressed texture over there. You can see it on the horse a little bit better. Looks great. The Man from Nevada from 1929. Again, musical scores by Ben Model. And it also includes The Law of the Plains from 1929. So 2 silent films from 1929, restored, the best they've ever looked, for sure. There's the Undercrank Productions logo there at the top. Check it out. I would love to get more into this label. maybe I should reach out to this label because I like their stuff and I love collecting silent films, and I don't hear anyone talking about them. So I need to spread the word about that. So that's also coming out this week. And then finishing up the row, we've got, what is this? The Emperor? The Empire? Kino Lorber's only release this week. A small village of northern France is the battleground of undercover extraterrestrial knights. Well, that seems insane. It's like a Star Wars ripoff with farm animals at the bottom and French. Bruno Dumont. I don't know who this. Maybe this is like a cult favorite director. I've never heard of this. This looks insane, and it says beautifully crafted and certifiably insane. So if that's your cup of tea, check it out. Just came out last year. Looks like a very indie film, but Kino Lorber, they'll put out anything. And then we've got Enter the Panther coming out from TerraVision. TerraVision having a big week. Look at this. Slip-covered release. Again, not a horror film. It's a what? Oh, it's not Bruce Lee. It's Bruce Lee. Enter the Panther. He stalks and strikes with slashing fury. Another TerraVision release. So I love that this week we're highlighting like a lot of smaller labels. We got one more here for Massacre Video. So 2 releases for Massacre Video. Another very violent horror film that I don't even want to click on because it looks like YouTube won't like it. But it's from 1996 and 1997. 2 films. One is called Burp and one is called Mass Carnaza. Very rough stuff. Be warned if you're going to look into that because that cover was pretty horrific. But there we go. That's it. That's all that's coming out this week. That's why I wanted to take some time and talk about Disney with you guys, because we wouldn't have even got a full hour out of that if it wasn't for that conversation. Let's keep that conversation going in the chat. If you're still here, let me know if you have any thoughts on the releases that we just talked about. But we made it through. I'm going to take a sip of water and we can jump back into the chat with you guys. And then we'll wrap this up. We got about 10 minutes left and we'll finish this one up early. I got more stuff to write. I got a conversation I'm recording tomorrow with another good friend of mine here on YouTube. So looking forward to that. And so much stuff going on, but I'm gonna try to get as many videos up this week as I can. I shot a very long conversation with John and Connor last week about the films of Pasolini. 2.5 hours we talked. So I'm gonna split that up into 2 videos, start editing that tomorrow morning, get the first one out for you guys as soon as I can. And we'll go from there. Let's see what else people are saying in the chat. Scroll up here and catch up. Here we go. Marty, speaking of Pinocchio, I just watched Red Letter Media's review of Silent Night, Deadly Night 5. Characters' names were Joe and Pinopetto. A take on the Pinocchio pedo isn't the best name to use. No, really hit the T, peto. Really make sure you hit that. Why so Bluetooth? Some woman asked me the other day, what poor defenseless creature had to die for you to wear that? Okay, this is a quote from Hedwig and the Angry Inch. So I have no idea how to deliver it because I haven't seen the film. But if you have seen the film, there's the quote right there at the bottom of the screen. Why So Bluetooth also says Hedwig is so good. The Criterion Blu-ray is stellar. It's been on my list for a while. It's been on my radar for a while. I don't know. I get so many recommendations. It's hard to prioritize stuff. Baloney, Disney's animated film, The Jungle Book, would look gorgeous on 4K. Jungle Book? Yeah, a lot of people love that one. That's another one I didn't grow up with, but I love the look of it. So I think I agree with you. It will look really good in 4K. We've also got John in the chat. Welcome, John. He's also talking about Hedwig, one of the first movies that Sharon and I saw together. Special to me. I have the CC, and I'm doing Musical May, so that's going to happen. Well, there you go. Maybe bring it over, John, and we'll watch it together. We already have a pretty stacked list, though, so I don't know how many we're going to get to this month. We already have like 15, 16 on our list, which we probably won't get to all of. That's a lot of movie nights in 1 month that we don't usually have the time for. Let's see. Oh, interesting. Mark actually has an Asian musical for us to check out. Since it is Asian Heritage Month, you should check out the 2005 Chinese musical, Perhaps Love, directed by Peter Chan. Outstanding. And it's a story that takes place in a circus. Oh, well, there you go. Mark knows how to get me on board. What is it called? Perhaps Love? I'm going to have to check that out. That could be really cool. Thanks, Mark. Perhaps Love. Remember that. Let me type that in over here so I don't forget it. I still need to carry a pen and paper when I do this show. Perhaps Love. Is there a Blu-ray release? Maybe. Oh, it's 2005. It's pretty recent. You just said that. Internet user Lord of the Flies. I like killing flies. What's next? That is true. Lord of the Flies is great. I just watched the Criterion for that like last year. I like it quite a bit. A favorite of mine. The book is a favorite of mine, and I thought the movie did it pretty well. Pretty well. Marty, Disney did release a box set in 2023 for their 100th anniversary with 100 films called Disney Legacy Animated Films Collection, all just repackaged blues in what I understand terrible packaging. I saw that. I had no interest. It was, first of all, it was like $1,500 or something like that. And I already had all the Blu-rays, so I didn't need it at all, and the packaging looked atrocious. So yeah, I steered clear of that one, but I did see when that came out. Ethan, Kino Lorber puts out a ton of silent movies. That's true. They're another one that puts out a ton of silent movies. Usually through like their Kino Classics line, or sometimes through Cohen Media. They do a good bit of that too. Kevin House, you should check out 1967's How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying for Musical May. It's the film version of Frank Loesser's Broadway show. It's very funny and great songs. Interesting. Wow. I never heard of that one. That's why I like doing the show. You guys always have good recs. Interesting. John says Ben Model just did a live performance with the Freshmen at the TCM Fest. He's great. Okay, so John knows him. John was just at TCM Festival all 2 weekends ago and had a great time. Sending me videos all weekend about all the cool stuff. Actually saw Sean Cornwell in person, the guy who sent me the Warner Archive stuff. They got to meet, and John sent him a copy of his book. It was awesome. Glad they had a great time. Wish I could have been there. I had a wedding to go to. My son was in a wedding. He was the ring bearer, and he lost his first tooth at the reception, which was a lot of fun. Henry, Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence would fit nicely in a musical Asian military month of May. While the film is not musical per se, it does have David Bowie to cover that aspect for inclusion. It also has Sakamoto, who actually does the score, and it's one of the best scores I've ever heard in my life. I love it. I will watch that again this year. I don't know if I'll do it this month, but I got to show it to Grace because she's never seen it, and I loved it the first time I watched it. And John says it's pronounced Modell for whatever reason. Well, you would know about having really unpronounceable last names, John. But thank you for the, Modell. John, okay, Modell. I'll try to remember that. No promises, though. Jeffrey Patron, except crashing a plane is one thing, crashing a film studio is another, but he just walked away from RKO as he did in at least, but I think a few of his crashes as well. I'm assuming he's talking to somebody else because I have no idea what he's talking about. So I may have just come into that conversation a little late. Internet user says Bruno Dumont has 2 films in Criterion, La Vie Jesus and La Humanite. Gosh, I'm butchering these. Humanite. They're very different than what Dumont is doing now. Interesting. Okay. Haven't heard of either of those. Never seen those in a Barnes & Noble. So I'll have to look those up. I like me a good French film. They do a lot of different stuff, though, so who knows? No Borders. Just watched Wim Wenders' Pope Francis, A Man of His Word on Netflix with my film club. Really holds up. So powerful. That Wim Wenders knows how to make a movie. Robert Rogers, speaking of Kino Lorber, I just bought a silent film called The Johnstown Flood. I've heard of this. The special effects for a film released in 1926 are excellent. It stars James Gaynor and George O'Brien from Sunrise. I love Sunrise. I've seen that. I watched the VFX Artist React channel quite a bit, and they did a video on this, and the special effects look insane. There's like this forced perspective shot of this flood that looks, like you said, flawless. It looks so good. I need to pick that up. Johnstown Flood. Yeah, I've picked up, you guys don't know this yet, but I have a Kino Lorber sale haul, bunch of stuff that I've already shot a video for. I just got to edit it and get it up, but there's several silent films in there that I've already talked about in video form. So you'll see that very soon. Thank you, Mr. Jones. He says Frank Lesser's name is pronounced Lesser. I got a lot of names to remember tonight. I got Shadow Raptor. I got Lesser, Frank Lesser, and I got Modell, all running around in my head. Mark, also a big fan of Hedwig. Baloney, Criterion needs to release a 4K at Play in the Fields of the Lord. Another film I need to look up. Lots of stuff I've never heard of tonight, which is always fun. Always thank you guys for the recommendations. And thanks for popping in tonight on a smaller stream. Not a lot of exciting releases. Some good ones, some big ones, but a smaller week. So I appreciate you guys popping in. I appreciate your feedback on the conversation. I'm out on an island by myself. I know that these are not going to be like the big sellers. I mean, Peter Pan would sell Alice in Wonderland would probably sell, but the rest, I don't know. The rest is my tastes, and I wish they would sell, and because I'd buy them, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll probably get like more Renaissance releases and 80s stuff, but I don't know. I would love these. Marty says How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, starring the late Robert Morse. Morse co-starred in the TV series Mad Men as Bert Cooper, such an underrated actor who should have done more. A second person. That's well, obviously he's referencing that, but yeah, 2 recommendations for How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. Ethan Edwards got Johnstown Flood 2. It was cheap on Amazon a week ago. Oh, interesting. I'm kind of interested in checking that out. Now, let's go to Amazon and see how much it is. Johnstown Flood. Blu-ray. $16.84. Not too cheap, but not too expensive. $16.84. I remember seeing this. I remember we talked about this when it came out. 50% off. Wow. The list price is $36. That's pretty insane. I don't know if that's great, but $16 much more reasonable at 50% off. Internet user, Disney have announced a 4K for the Rocky Horror Picture Show. See? They're finally releasing their catalog. It's good news. Bad news, they'll probably charge like $60 for it. That seems to be their MO lately. Shadow Raptor, Legend of the Stardust Brothers might be a good wacky Asian musical if you can get your hands on it. Legend of the Stardust Brothers. Interesting. That looks absolutely crazy. Look that up when you have some time. It's this way over the top, like 80s, colorful looking musical. It's on Tubi right now, so I could watch it on there. Free on Tubi. Baloney says Haley Mills films from Disney are essential on 4K. New name here. Aksha Dimaru. I just picked up Blowout Criterion version and the Untouchables Blu-ray. Do you think those are good double feature combo? Also bought all region Blu-ray player. Awesome. That's great. I don't have an all region Blu-ray player, but I have one that can play region free stuff with a simple trick. But I'm so glad you found one. It's going to open up a world of physical media to you. There's so many releases, so many great releases. I've already mentioned Indicator in this stream, Eureka, Radiance, even though they do US releases now, but there's so many great, like BFI, all these great boutique releases coming out in the UK that we don't get. And they're hard to get your hands on. A lot of them are out of print and expensive on eBay. So it's tough, but it's so much stuff out there that you can get if you have a region free player. So congratulations. Dell on Movies popping in saying what's up right at the end of the stream. I think we're about to wrap it up. Let me know if you have any more comments, questions, anything you want to put in the chat, because we'll finish up here in just a few more minutes. Want to hear your thoughts though. Any last Disney thoughts? What would you like to see on 4K coming soon? Any thoughts about the releases we talked about tonight? I'll briefly mention the ones I'm most excited about. Obviously, we're talking about Lilo and Stitch. I'll have to pick that one up just to support more Disney releasing their old catalog stuff. I like it. I'm going to get Umbrellas of Cherbourg. Probably wait till the July sale later on, because that's what I usually do. Criterion's expensive. What are you going to do? In the Heat of the Night, maybe also. Both of those Criterions are solid. I'd like to look more into the Seed of the Sacred Fig. And I got to look more into I Like Killing Flies, because there's no synopsis. And then the Tom Tyler silent films from Under Crank Productions. Those are the biggest ones, but those are the ones I already talked about. So you knew that. I'm most excited, obviously, about Umbrellas of Cherbourg getting a 4K. I've never double dipped for Criterion. That might be my first double dip. My first upgrade that I get, because I've never bought, I always stick with my Blu-ray. Never jump. That's a good question also. Let me know if you've ever upgraded your Blu-ray to a 4K and it was totally worth it. If you have that, throw that in the chat as well, or in the comments down below in the replay afterwards, because I'm not usually an upgrader, but I know a lot of people are. Ethan Edwards says Blowout and The Untouchables are both great. No Border says Blowout would pair better with De Palma's Body Double. So forming some other double features in there. Henry, for Pasolini fans, La Passion Selon Beatrice is Pasolini related with Beatrice Dalle from Betty Blue. I will have to look into that, because I am definitely a Pasolini fan. especially doing this marathon over the last couple of weeks, like watching all of his films from the 60s all at once was a wonderful experience. And I can't wait to share that conversation with you guys because we all three had a great time with it. We all three watched all of them and we talked about all of them. So it's a long conversation. I think it's worth listening to. It was at least worth doing for me because I got a lot out of it talking to those guys about their opinions. Marty says, DJ, thoughts on the more Pixar titles like Wall-E going to Criterion? That's another great question. Which Pixar films would I want? I should have come up with a list of those. That could be another stream, I guess. Let me just Google. Let me just list of Pixar films just so I have it in front of me. Oh, it's mixing in all the shorts with it. Don't do that. That's just confusing me. My favorite Pixar films are, and we have Wall-E, which is a good one. Probably never going to come to Criterion again. I think that's the only Disney film we'll get in Criterion. But if they want to release some of their, but I feel like most Pixar films have 4Ks. Do they not? Are there Pixar? Maybe you guys have to let me know. Are there a lot of Pixar films that don't have 4Ks? I feel like they've gone back and done those. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I feel like if it doesn't have a 4K, Ratatouille would be great. Ratatouille is one of my all-time favorites. Top 5, easily. Luca has a 4K. I liked Luca quite a bit. That one obviously has a 4K because it came out very recently. The problem with that is some of the older animation is not, like if you watch Finding Nemo, infinitely better film than Finding Dory, but Dory looks so much better, obviously. I mean, Finding Nemo looks incredible for 2003. I'm not besmirching Finding Nemo, but like if you watch them back to back, you can tell how much the technology has advanced, obviously. Same thing with the Cars movies, like Cars looks pretty good because it's 2005, but like obviously Cars 3 looks a little better, but the story's nowhere near as good as the first Cars. But yeah, I just don't know what has a 4K and what doesn't. I can just say my favorites, and if it doesn't have a 4K, I would obviously want that. Ratatouille, Monsters, Inc. is a favorite. Incredibles is a favorite, obviously. What else? I really like Cars. The first Cars is special to me because that was a big thing with my brother growing up. He loved that movie. That was one of those ones that he watched like all the time. And I also showed it to my son pretty early. That was the first 3D film. I didn't show him a lot of 3D films growing up. I wanted him to grow up with 2D first and then transition to 3D. But I showed him that one because we got to collect all the cars and it was like a big thing for us as a kid. Also, Bug's Life. I love Bug's Life. I would love to see Bug's Life in 4K. Again, it's not going to look great because it's that early 1998 Pixar, but those are some of my favorites. Good Dinosaur would look incredible, and that has a 4K. The visuals in Good Dinosaur are unmatched. Like the water looks real in that. It's insane. I would love to see the Good Dinosaur in 4K. I've never seen it in 4K, but even on Blu-ray, it looks ridiculous. Let's talk about something else here. Ethan Edwards, they should do the Donald Duck Disney Treasures on Blu-ray. Oh, of course. I mean, I'm just talking about like starting with Snow White, but obviously I wish they would restore all of their older films, like all their short films from before Snow White, Silly Symphonies, Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, Goofy, like the Goofy shorts. I've got all of it back there. Right there. Those gray boxes are all Disney Treasures. We don't even have Blu-rays of those yet, so I'm not expecting that ever. But I would love it. If we're just talking ideal pie in the sky situation, yes, of course, release those classics on 4K. That would be amazing. Marty says all the Disney Treasures need to be reissued on Blu-ray. I don't think it's ever going to happen. That was like the last time Disney was okay putting stuff out. Now, there's a bunch of stuff on those DVDs that isn't even on Disney Plus. Like they're scared to even show some of that stuff. Some of the more offensive stuff that didn't age well. Like they're so against that right now. I don't think those are ever going to get Blu-ray releases. Hopefully, maybe if they get under new management or something, we could finally get that, but I doubt it. Dell says, I'm an upgrader, but not a double dipper. I get rid of the lower format. I think that still counts as double dipping. If you buy it twice, you don't have to keep it, but you still dipped twice. Let me know some 4Ks that you thought were worth it. Ethan also says Ratatouille is overlooked. I agree, one of my favorites. Marty, most Pixar films are on 4K, but again, like the 90s Disney films on 4K, most are said to have not very good transfers. That sucks. That's annoying. Why? They look great. They should put some work into those. Marty says, I'm still advocating for Roger Rabbit getting a Criterion release, regardless if it's on 4K already or not. Too important of a film. There's a 4K Steelbook for Roger Rabbit that I would love to get, but it is way out of print and way expensive. It looks crazy. I'm probably not ever going to get it, but I would like to get that film on 4K. Not one I grew up with, but I've heard nothing but great things about it. Mark says Ratatouille is on 4K. So there you go. See, I don't even know because I'm not an upgrader. I don't upgrade to 4K. I'm more aware of stuff because I have this channel and I stay up to date a little bit more, but I wasn't upgrading Blu-rays to 4K for the longest time. All right, I think we've finally finished. I got one more here from Baloney. It says silent films are great. Some of them will leave you speechless. Good night, everyone. He's going out with a bang. He's going out with just a closing statement. He's making it for me. Well, and two more just popped in. Hold on. Sorry to not give you the last word, Baloney. Dell says Disney should really license out lots of the 20th Century Studios stuff they own. I'm sure the boutiques can put out some great 4Ks. Hopefully Sony's on that and they're starting to do that more often. That would be great. Oh, all these comments are coming in right at the end here. Disney's case trying to ignore history has more bad than good. Song of the South happened. You should stop pretending it doesn't exist. Exactly. I just watched Song of the South for the first time ever a few weeks back. And yeah, they are absolutely pretending like that never happened, which is dumb. Accept it. Acknowledge it. Put a little blurb at the front acknowledging it if you have to, like you do on Disney Plus, but don't just ignore it. No Borders. I've tried to buy UK 4K equivalents of the Criterion Blu-rays. I already have, like Eureka, Studio Canal, BFI, Curzon, Umbrella. Exactly. They're great, and they're better. I mean, the packaging is better than Criterion. The Eureka stuff that's coming out, Studio Canal, the Studio Canal sets are I actually just splurged on a Studio Canal release, The Wicker Man, spoiler alert, that's coming soon. Finally got it. I'm hoping to get the Third Man Studio Canal at some point, so I can have both of those. They're killing it. BFI also putting out great sets. I mentioned them earlier in the stream. Curzon, I didn't mention them yet this stream, but I just picked up some box sets from them. They're killing it. Umbrella, not from the UK, but from Australia, also killing it with their releases. I need to finally make that Umbrella. The sale ended, and I missed my chance. So I need to finally make an order from them. Van Gool, what about Emperor's New Groove on 4K? Another great one. Another solid one. A very unique animation style. And it was also in that experimental era. And it would look great on 4K. It doesn't have the qualities of the older classic stuff where you can like see the hand-drawn animation on the screen. It's much cleaner, so I don't know how much it would benefit from a 4K, but that's another one of my favorites. Another very unusual, like, different kind of thing that they did. Ethan Edwards, speaking of upgrading, says, I had Seven Samurai 5 times. VHS, Criterion's first Dreadful DVD, their remastered DVD, Blu-ray, and now 4K. Same with Godfather. 5 times. Well, you sir need to get the BFI Ultimate 4K edition of Seven Samurai just to seal the deal and completely finish it off. I don't know what's going on with my camera tonight. It's like it wants to change the white balance every 5 minutes. Sorry about that. Don't know what's going on. Marty says Disney Touchstone and Hollywood Pictures as well to boutiques should be licensed out to. Again, yes, we've talked about this ad nauseum. Disney has so much stuff in their back catalog that they're just sitting on. They don't care about physical media, or at least they didn't. It seems like they're finally coming around. Hopefully, it gets better soon. Jeffrey says, hopefully you're able to snag the Third Man Studio Canal 4K set soon. That's a tease, because we're talking about stuff offline. It may be happening soon. We'll see. I'll talk to you after the stream, Jeffrey, or maybe tomorrow. I don't know what I'm doing after this. But anyway, that's the show. That's the weekly live show. We went over all the new releases. Had a good time talking to you guys. Thanks for popping in, chiming in about Disney. I like when we have little topics of discussion, get off track a little bit, spice things up, because it can get, a little monotonous going over all the new releases. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream. If you're watching after the fact, let me know in the comments down below. If you're still watching on the live stream, hit the like button just to let me know how many people are interested in this show. I mean, keep going with it. And that's all. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, keep collecting.